Hello, really appreciate your trust and thanks for joining me in this series where I teach you how to develop terminal report system with just Word, Excel, and Outlook. So this is what you should be able to do after going through this particular presentation and series of demonstrations with me. So the first is to design list worksheet, that is the student list worksheet. We will look at another bit of it where you design the grading system, subject and classes worksheet. We move on to the design of our school-based assessment worksheet and create multiple copies of the SBA within the terminal report workbook. We also look at a data entry worksheet, which will be linked to all these individual school-based assessment. And we move on to look at linking the summaries of all columns needed for the generation of terminal and cumulative records to 9 worksheets needed for mail merge in Microsoft Word. So we are looking at 9 worksheets because we have 9 terms within 3 academic years for the GHS and for the SHS. So once we do it for the GHS, you can easily replicate it for the senior high school and even do it for basic 1 to 3 and basic 4 to 6. Then we look at the creation of these terminal reports and cumulative record designs in Excel, and we send it to Microsoft Word for final editing. So normally if you're creating tables, it is advisable to do it in Excel, then later take it to Word and make sure you just do some final edit and make it neat and nice. Good. Then we look at it, the last but not the least, which is using the mail merge feature to generate terminal and cumulative records as a single PDF file for printed or as individual files for students. So we look at that as well. Then the final thing is to set up our Microsoft Outlook. So if you've not used Outlook before, this series I'll teach you a bit of it and how best you can use it to manage your emails and other appointments. Okay. So how do we create the student list worksheet? So this is an example of the student list worksheet, and that is what we will be doing in a couple of seconds. So I want you to have a look at what is on your screen, and we will be creating that. And that I don't think will be much of a problem because it is very simple and straight to the point. So I've already linked my Excel file to this particular presentation so that I don't go out of it. So the first thing I'll do is I'll open Microsoft Excel. So I'll need you to also do the same on your system. So once I open, it opens, then we can take it up from there. Good. So I've opened the Excel file and I've named it. Let me maximize it. Okay. So I've given it a name as Terminal Report System. So the first thing we ought to do is to create our student list. So this is sheet 1. I come in here, change the name to student list. So you double click on the sheet tab, or you can equally right click and select what rename. So these are various ways of renaming your worksheets. Let me pin my okay, I've pinned the button. Okay, so now we can see the full stretch of the Microsoft ribbon. So the first thing we ought to do is to look at some form of ID or serial number. So I'll put ID here. Then the next is the name of the student, the class, the house the student is at. I'll look at number on row. Okay, number on row. So I'll make it n on row. Then I'll look at date of birth. So date of birth, because you need all of these for the transcripts. Then probably admission date if you so choose to. Then you look at nationality. So this is how we go about it. So if you don't know how to use Excel, you use this to, adjust the cell margins. So you position it in between the column headings. When the pointer changes to this particular form, you just do that to widen it. Okay, so the class I don't think will be that huge. Number one role is here, date of birth. So you can even format the date of birth into long date. So what you do is you select the entire column. When it points turns into a downward arrow, you select, then you come to general, then you select what, long date as the format. So if today is, let's say, 4/7/2020, that was the date, you say, okay, so I need to adjust it a little bit. So Tuesday, April 7, 2020, something like that. So once it's been properly formatted, we can look at admission what date. We also do the same by looking at long date. Then nationality, probably your school contains people from different places. So Ghanaians and Nigerians are all in there. So you need to look at all of that. So once that is done, then we need to look at the number of classes in your school and how many students per each class. Good. So I'll start with my numbering system 1, 2. Okay. So one thing you need to understand here is the terminal report system you are designing for the school is limited to the number of rows in Excel. And how many rows do we have in Excel? So I'm going to do a control down arrow on the keyboard. Once I do that, it goes to the last row, which is 1,048,576. So that is how many students or the number of students you can develop terminal report systems within a term. So each row represents a particular student's what data. So basically that is it. And as I proceed, you will understand why I'm saying each row represented a particular student's what data, with the exception of the row headings. And there's a reason why we don't use this. So as we proceed, you will get to understand why. And we also have instances where students come, others leave in the middle of the term and all of that. But when they leave, you still have to keep their data so that anytime they want to come back for it, you can just retrieve it for them. You don't need to delete their names off the system. So I'm going to assume that we have about 10 classes that we are dealing with. And each of the 10 classes, the maximum is 25 students per class. So because students come and go and others leave, we have to increase the number to about 50 to accommodate those who leave and those who come in. Okay, so each class is about a 50 and you're looking at about 10 classes. So if it is 10 classes by 50, then that means we are looking at what? 500 students in a particular year group. Yes, 500 students in a particular year group. So we can do that and let's see what happens. So this is 1, this is 2. So you use the shift down arrow key to select 1 and 2. Then you keep on going up to about a 500. So you say it is being numbered. It is being numbered. So this is how you create your student list. That's as simple as that. So I think I'm on 500, which is here. Okay. Let me move it up a bit. Okay, so this is 500. Good. So I'll need to do some demarcations. So as a Microsoft Office specialist, always bring your clipboard, which will help you do so many things at the same time. So I will copy this. So if you want to bring your clipboard, you click on the dialog box launcher for the clipboard group. I'll copy this. So once I copy it, is collected onto my clipboard. Good. So it's been collected. Good. Then I'll hit my escape key. So for every 50 students, I'll need to insert a row between 50 and 51. So since I'm dealing with cells, I go to the cells group. You come to format, then you say what? No, I come to insert. Then I'll say what? Insert sheet rows. So once I do that, it's inserted. That is one way of inserting. And I'll put it here, click on what I've already copied, then it's pasted. I'll go to the next, which is 100. So instead of going to the tab and the group, I can use keyboard shortcut, which is Alt first, then I'll press I on the keyboard, then I'll add R on the keyboard, then it is inserted. Then I'll click, it is pasted. So you can choose any of these options for that. So Alt IR, I'll paste. So we have to do that for all the, so that we can differentiate them. Alt IR, paste. So I'll go to 250, Alt IR, paste. Good. Then I come to 300, Alt IR, paste. Then I'll go to 350, Alt IR, I'll paste. So once I do that, you can get to enjoy some music so that you don't get bored. Okay, so once you finish, you press Ctrl plus Up arrow key on the keyboard, you get to the first row. Then I'll use the Shift and Right arrow keys to select everything from one end to the other. So you can even use Ctrl Shift Right arrow to move quickly, Ctrl Shift Down arrow to move quickly to select the entire range of your data set. Then this is about the designing of it. So you come to what? All borders. Good. So once the borders have been designed, come here, I do a Control B for this particular one exercise. Good. So once that is done, what's next? Okay, enjoy. Okay, so Control B, that is that. Okay, so let's look at how we can properly format this. Okay, so you select this entire range, then probably you come and do a fill color. So I'll select a color like this, then I'll make the font color white. Good. So the rest will be up to me to select the entire range. Then use a different color, so probably something like this, which is blue accent, one light, 80%. So in the Microsoft exams, they are very specific. So you need to know your way around the application. Okay, good. So once that is done, I can change the font style. So let's say Times New Roman. Okay, then I'll double click to adjust like this. Number on row, admission date, nationality. Okay, so once that is done, I don't need the rest of the columns. So I'll click on the J to select everything in its entirety, then Control Shift right arrow to select all the columns. I'll do a right click, then I'll hide it so I don't need it. Okay, then I'll do Control down arrow to get to the last row on my data range. Select it by clicking on the row number, which is 512. Then I'll do Control Shift down arrow to select all the 1 million cells. Then I'll right click and I'll select what? Hide. Good. So once we do that, we are only limiting our data to this particular range. Then you can obviously go to view and hide the headings, and you have something like this. So we look at the number on row here. So the number on row for 50 of them. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go back up, copy this so that we can have a nice format. Okay, Control C, it is copied. Then I'll come, I do Control V to paste. So I'm going to do that for all of them. So you can just do it at your end. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done with that. So this is how you create your student worksheet, student list worksheet. So let me look at the number on row. So with the number on row, what I'll do is I'll select all of these in its entirety. Then I'll do a merge cell. So merge and what? Center. Good. So if I come here, we have to put in a formula to count the number of students on this particular stretch, because we'll be using that in our terminal report. So go back up, do it for this as well. So use the shift and down arrow key to select. So I'm going to do it for all. So enjoy. Okay, so it's been done. So how do we put in a formula for calculating the number of students as I type? So you will do that. We use the count all. So I'll go to formulas. Then I'll come to insert function. I'm using this. I could have easily typed the formula, but I want you to understand how it's done and appreciate the formulas. So we look at count. Then I'll click on go. So count the number of cells in a range that contains numbers. You have count the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So this is the formula we need to use. Count the number of cells in the range that are not empty. Then I'll click on what? Okay. So once that is done, it looks at the range. So what's my first value? So the first value will be from this end through to the 50th. Then I'll click on what? Okay. That's it. So B2 through to B51. So immediately I come here, I type Fifi. Automatically the system should start counting for me. So you see one is down there. So I need to position it in the center. Okay, so it's up there, and I'll try to increase. So I'll bring it up. Okay, so I'll do this. So once it's here, I think that is it, so that you know. So if I come here and I do the same for Kojo Impini mouth. So once I do that, it automatically counts. It gives you a count of the number of students within that particular class. So we're going to do replicate the same formula for the rest of the classes that we have. Okay, so you can easily just copy this, copy the formula, then you go to the next. Okay, you come to the next class. Control V to paste. Okay, so I have to go through the same system again. So this is from formulas. Insert. I'll do a count A. So this will be from this side through to 100. Then I'll click on OK. Now get a count, do my appropriate formatting, make it bold and increase it to about, I'll make it 72. Okay, so I'll do that for the rest. So you also do the same. Okay, so please do all to follow and do what I do. So just a couple of minutes, I'll be done. So I'll have to increase the font size to 180. I'll make it bold, bring this one up. I'll come to my formulas. I'll go to insert function. I'll use my count A. Then I have to select from this section 201 to 250. So this is developing terminal report system from the scratch. So that is done. And I move on to my next same process. 80. I'll make it bold. I increase it a bit. Then go to my formulas. So from here, you know what to do. Yeah, so just follow as we develop the system from the scratch. So the same process, you just have to be patient, go through it bit by bit. So I believe it's been educative and it's very straight to the point. So this is how you create your student list worksheet. So that is the first thing you do if you want to develop terminal report system from the scratch. So once I delete the names of the system, automatically my number on row becomes 0. So that's basically it. And I want you to do same today. Then tomorrow we'll continue with our next session. So once you are done, please save it as terminal report system. I'll close it. Then I'll get back to my presentation. So I'll move on to the next slide. And the next slide will be about the grading system subject and class worksheet. And that's what we will be doing in our next presentation. So please work on what we've done so far. Then tomorrow, God willing, we will continue with our next training video. Kindly tell a friend to tell a friend.